Hi, some people were asking for my thoughts on some of the OGL stuff. Okay, so look, I want to see final documentation from Wizards of the Coast. There's no point ravening on about something that may not happen. And I would also want to see opinions from some of the entertainment lawyers and so on that I know, proper ones. However, having seen some of the language that's come out of this, I can see part of their motivation seems to have been to try and control some of the dreadful material that has been turning up. You could see the stuff done by the new TSR group, who have been doing outright racist, anti-Semitic, anti-trans, white supremacist bullshit, and then attaching it to old TSR IP names and trying to get it out was damaging Wizards brand. There's also been some people publishing adventures and campaign settings that are outright anti-Semitic, that have been anti-women's rights, that have been racist. There's been publishers out there who are absolute outright Nazis, absolute scum, and they're doing stuff which they're attaching to, you know, Wizards and therefore Hasbro's brand names, which is dragging them down. So I can see the inspiration for this in some of the language has come from, we've got to be able to control this a bit more. So frankly, I agree. When you let everyone run around unsupervised, you get the nut jobs and you get people who will drag the brand down. This is kind of on us. We let these people flourish. This is what you get. Unfortunately, it looks like this has gone past corporate, who's had this whole amazing idea that, let's remonetize this whole thing. Let's make this like one of these micro-payment game systems you get online, and, you know, we could wring way more money out of that. And they've done a massive misread on the community, and they've also mistaken D&D for role-playing games. D&D is not role-playing games. D&D is a role-playing game, and most of us don't play it. There's a new generation of people that have been playing 5th Ed and nothing more. What I think's quite funny is they managed to convince those people to go out and try other game systems, which we couldn't. You know, over the last 5-10 years, we've been trying to get these guys, come on, play something other than D&D, and they won't. Yeah, now they're trying RuneQuest. Now they're playing Alien and Traveller and, you know, Call of Cthulhu. You betcha. I think the backlash from the community has been noted. Wizards have done a frantic backpedal. And so I think they're going to have a massive rethink of what they're going to do. At the core of what they're up to, they still very, very, very much want to do something that they can monetize online. They've seen the fact that there are online games going on, online frameworks. They want to make that theirs. All right. They've got every right to give it a shot. It's going to have to compete with other systems out there. They can't just crack down. But the thing people do have to get out of their mind is that this OGL, it doesn't govern everything you do. It just governs things that you do dealing with Wizards. If you're doing stuff based on RuneQuest or Traveller or something, that's got nothing to do with you. And in fact, a brief look at some of the leaked documentation shows that this is all about people doing things that work with the SRD, which is the System Reference Document, which is essentially the current iteration of Dungeons and Dragons. They're trying to limit people's ability to mess around with that in particular. So it may not particularly affect you if you tend to do stuff based on, like, you know, revisioned versions of original D&D and so on. A lot of that stuff didn't affect these publishers anyway, because what was in the OGL wasn't stuff that they had the right to really copyright anyway. And, you know, you'd kind of made those rules your own. So this isn't like a disaster. I can't quite see the people completely doing their nut. I can see, and to be honest, there have been some very large companies that have made serious chunks of money based on, you know, Hasbro IP. Yeah, Hasbro want a slice of that pie if it gets too big. That was always going to happen. That was always going to happen. Make your own IP. But, yeah, there's no point doing your nut over something that hasn't come out yet. And, yeah. However, I do think it's sort of interesting that it has galvanized the community into finally making their own material stand free and proud from the old IPs. People are running out and them trying to make open source games specifically for everyone to share. That is a wonderful idea. I've been very much involved with the re-release of Labyrinth Lords. That's being retooled at the moment to make sure that it is essentially an open source game for people to share. Its own thing. It doesn't owe anything to Hasbro and Wizards and those sorts of people. Those are very laudable, and so if anything, I think it's been kind of neat that this thing has galvanized folk into doing some actions that we probably should have done, a few years ago. But anyway, let's wait and see what the final document is. You might find it's a little bit hand-wringy, given the fact that the fandom's given them, whipped their old trousers off, took the stick out of the cupboard, and gave them a damn good drubbing. But no, it's not disastrous. Like I said, the small indie publishers and so on are now at work making sure that they are absolutely free and clear of these documents, things that everyone should have done before. The larger publishers, they're going to have a big think. Are you going to remain part of Hasbro's herd, or are you going to also kind of cleave off and make sure your material is intellectually sealed off as your own? We'll see how it develops. That's all we can say. All right, cheers.